This is Dan from the 4x4 Podcast, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
You already know about XJ Talk on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. But did you know we're on YouTube as well? We have off and on-road adventures, how-tos for fixing or augmenting your Jeep. Besides, man cannot live by sound alone, right? Come see what we got at youtube.com/user/XJTalk. Don't forget to subscribe and make comments on our videos.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Andy from Ironman4x45.com, also known as Ironman Andy, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, well, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
Hey, it's Matt Adair with Petty Cash Racing. Tune into the XJ Talk Show to find out more about our team and the Jeep we all love.
And welcome to the XJ Talk Show, the XJ Talk pre-show, I guess I should say. Josh has joined us via Skype, and we'll be getting going with the show here. I don't think that's proper English. We'll be starting the show very soon.
That works for me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show.
So if you're looking at the numbers, the times I have up there, that's probably makes sense. But just to explain it, since we have the 40-minute interview, I know time's going to be tight tonight. So I was just, I figured as we were laying this thing out and the wee moments before the show, we could, look at trying to hone this thing for about 17 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah, as far as This Week in Jeep, we'll be well under that.
I mean, that's the total where we need to be from the chit-chat, the voicemails, and okay. This Week in Jeep.
That's the time mark. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Gotcha.
I don't know what I'm doing. I just came up with something.
I'm going to get my handy-dandy little stopwatch app out here, and so I can keep a track of things.
So you can see when I take it off the rails.
Yeah, right. When we both grab the steering wheel and veer off the cliff.
When you try to keep from saying, well, anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't feel like I'm getting so sick of working on the Jeeps. It's like having a harem full of women. They all get on their period at the same time.
Oh, jeez.
And it seems like I don't like working on vehicles. I like doing the work. I like knowing the work was done right. I like being done with the work. But it's really hard for me to get out there and start working on it. I mean, the fun stuff is different. The maintenance is the brakes. That's what I had to do today.
Well, I'm gonna say there's got to be something in the air or something like that, because I've still got a rather lengthy list of stuff to do on the Jeep, and I have not had the motivation to start any of it. And it's
with that multi-ton steering you did. Is it a 1-ton?
Yeah, it is 1-ton.
I've said it so differently so many other times. I would imagine that 1-ton was a lot. That steering was a lot of work and a lot of headache just trying to get things right because of it not being stock.
Yeah, and although I'm happy with its strength, I'm not 100% happy with its performance. I still do have a little bit of bump steer, and I get a little bit of a wobble every now and again. If I hit a big enough pothole and the road is slick or something like that, I can feel the front end kind of shimmy a little bit underneath the Jeep.
Wow, I would not expect that.
Yeah, me either. So I got to figure out what's going on. And again, I haven't had the motivation to really do much anything with it. So,
but you haven't had any problems with the go back and forth to work vehicle, I would assume.
The daily driver's working just fine.
We've got about 3 minutes before showtime.
Okay. I'm just finishing up my notes here for this week in Jeep. Oh, come on.
So I watched Star Trek, I don't know. I don't forget what they call it, but basically the Wrath of Khan copy. This weekend, my kids were watching it on, we had Cassie and I had our birthday celebration on Saturday. Cassie was born September 24th, as was I, so the official party was the 28th. Anyway, so we were me and Cassie, Mandy, and Sean were sitting in the living room watching the movie, and it was actually a little better than when I saw it the first time. I didn't think it did as well as the first Star Trek reboot, but it was better seeing it the second time. Scotty's hilarious. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the guy from Shaun of the Dead, just hilarious. He does a really good job of playing Scotty too, because it's like he comes back on the ship after being gone a day, and it's the ship has just been beat to hell. He goes, "I've been gone a day. What'd you do to my ship? I've been gone a day." That Star Trek episode should be called the Rodney Dangerfield episode for Captain Kirk, because he gets no respect from anybody on that ship. You far enough along where I can start rolling the show?
Yeah, I think so.
Did we have an opener?
Oh, yeah, it should be in there. Sorry. It should be number 20.
Breaking news at the XJ Talk Show News Desk. Scientists reveal secret to turn rust into gold. More after this.
Welcome to the XJ Talk Show. You're listening to the premier podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-road adventures, tips that you can use, and interviews with people in the off-road industry. And now, here are your hosts, Tony and Josh.
Hey, this is Tony, also known as Motoroy, on the famous, I was going to say infamous, but the famous xjtalk.com, the Jeep Cherokee forum, the premier website on everything you want to know about the Jeep Cherokees, as long as it's not the 2014 Cherokee. I'm sure somebody's going to post about it, Josh, but you know, I guess it's fun. You know, you get to beat the hell out of something.
Oh yeah, as Tony's mentioned, I am Josh, otherwise known as NW99XJ or Northwest 99XJ on the famous xjtalk.com, the premier and probably the best and of course the most friendliest Jeep Cherokee and Jeep related site on the whole web. Yeah, we're eventually going to have to create some sort of a thread dedicated towards the 2014 Cherokee, since, you know, we are a Cherokee site. Oh, geez, and unfortunately it does have the same name badge. We're going to have to dedicate at least a very small infinitesimal corner of the website to it, unfortunately. Well, we are going to get to talking about the new Cherokee a little bit later in the show in This Week in Jeep. We do have a special interview for you guys later on, a special interview by a gentleman from Warrior Products. His name is Eric, and he was a great guy and gave me some time to, well, tour the facility and, of course, sit down and interview a little bit. Tony and I are going to talk a little bit about, well, some stuff with our Jeeps. And, of course, we're going to wrap up the show later on with some good stuff as well. So, guys, stick around. We got a great show for you tonight.
And if you're not aware, we do this show live every Sunday, 10 p.m. We used to do it on Ustream. I know we need to update the site, so calm down out there. We'll get it done. But we're on YouTube, the live events. So you can actually go over to the XJ Talk channel on YouTube and watch us live every 10 p.m. Sunday. You can make comments there on YouTube during the show, and I think it's just fun to interact and watch the show live. And of course, we're recording a podcast, which is audio only, so this is really the only opportunity that you get to see Josh and mine smiling faces. That was just scary, Josh.
I know. There's a screenshot for you guys. Yeah, we're broadcasting now on YouTube. Of course, head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. We got all kinds of good stuff up there. Tony's always putting some great video feeds up there for us to share, and he's got some dash cam footage up there you guys have got to check out every now and again. Posts up some really cool stuff.
You know, I started working on a new video today to put up on our YouTube channel. It's something that is very easy and very common, I think, for probably one of the first things that people learn how to do besides change tires and put in check oil and put in oil into their vehicles is doing a brake job. So I took the time today whenever I was doing the mundane task of changing out the front disc brakes on my 98 Jeep Cherokee. I went through the process of recording video of doing that. So it's nothing spectacular, it's just the basic things. And as the way I like to think of it, it's a great video to put up on YouTube so somebody can tell me everything that I did wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of those guys with opinions out there. But you know what, Tony? It's stuff like that we need to start adding to the site a little bit more. It's the sort of, you know, the how-tos. We got a lot of new Cherokee owners out there, and by new Cherokee, I don't mean the 2014 Cherokee. I mean just people that are new.
People are new, brand new,
people
yeah,
that are new to the XJ world. And you know, of course, they're going to be running into maintenance stuff that they may or may not have ever done before. And of course, doing it yourself is always going to, one, save you a lot of time and money, of course, but it's also going to give you invaluable knowledge about your Jeep. And if you're out on the trail and something happens, if you have spent a fair amount of time wrenching on your vehicle, you're going to know it inside and out, literally. And it's going to be able to help you get out of a sticky situation, either on the trail or on the side of the road, worst case to happen.
Well, I'm just putting it together in my head because it's been a while since I did the wheel bearing assemblies, but talking about trail repairs, if you know how to do disc brake changes, I think you're only like 3 bolts away from being able to pull a hub and pull out a front axle. and do a front axle swap. So knowing how to do change out your disc brakes yourself not only saves you a ton of money. I mean, I replaced the hubs and put in some of the Wagner first time for my Jeep, putting in the Wagner ceramic disc pads.
Oh, yeah.
And so I spent a little extra money this time on doing these, and but just with that and 2 cans of brake cleaner was $116.
And really, I mean, you can get probably an $89 or a $99 brake job at some of these shops out and around there. But then if you have to have your rotors turned, that's going to be extra. If you want to step up to,
you have to have your rotors turned though.
Exactly. And if you want to step up to some, ceramic or some of the lifetime pads, well, of course, that's going to be an extra charge. Any fluid charge, and of course, shop fees and stuff like that. And pretty soon that $89 brake job is $120, $150, $160.
Well, they're there to make money, and their business is to find things that they can, fix. I'm not going to say that they don't have to be fixed or they're making anything up, but when a muffler bearing goes out, and you got to change it. So
and you top off that turn signal fluid. I mean,
nobody likes being without turn signals, running dry, so to speak, on the reservoir, and not being able to legally drive. Of course, I don't use turn signals. I go by what a friend of mine that does aerobatic flying, which has nothing to do with what he said, but when he drives in Houston traffic, he doesn't use turn signals because he says he doesn't like to give away his strategy.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to have to use that.
Yeah, I've used that one. And he was dead serious, too. He also says that he saves spark plugs after spark plug changes, doing the upgrade on the engine, your basic maintenance. He uses those to throw at people because it'll bust a windshield.
Oh, it sure will. I would imagine so. Wow. Talking about road rage. Boy.
Yes. Well, he was definitely a character, or definitely is a character. I haven't spoken with him in several years. He's actually a ham radio operator here in the Houston area, and I would talk to him on the local repeater. But what a character! But seriously, I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but he used to do aerobatic flame flying.
That's right.
plane flying. And out at the LaPorte airport, I believe, which, it's funny. The LaPorte airport is a cross, has 2 runways that make a cross. And those things are very dangerous because there's a lot of accidents that happen right there where those 2 runways cross.
Uh-oh.
So all they need to do is put a skull up on top of the cross. It's just, it's not the only airport that has it like that, but those are dangerous. Anytime I don't think it's a controlled airfield either. So that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Anyway, got off on another tangent. Don't want to hear anything bad from Denver D1.
Yeah, of course. So, Tony, before the show, we were talking just a little bit about motivation to work on the Jeeps, and I certainly have been lacking a lot of that lately, at least in the motivation department, because I still have a ton of stuff that I need to do on the Jeep, and I haven't gotten around to any of it yet. And in fact, the garage is a mess. I got stuff staged up for a big Halloween installation that'll be going up here pretty soon, and well, the Jeep is being neglected in sorts. It's not being driven, so it's not being driven a whole lot, at least. So it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, there's stuff that needs to be done, and I'm not getting around to it.
Yeah, I've actually recently put up another video with some of the things that I go through going back and forth to work, and there's this one guy that did the brake check on me during rush hour, which I thought was kind of strange, seeing as how he was coming across 3 lanes of traffic to make a right-hand turn. Anyway, it was my fault, obviously. Anyway, it's just reminds me I really got to get the air tank, the compressor, and the air horn hooked up. Now, it is an onboard air system meant to be used for airing up tires, so on and so forth.
Of course.
But the fun part of it will be the air horn.
Yes.
So it just reminded me, and actually I started to do that today, but I remembered something I needed to do to the TJ, and that'll be a video coming up as well, because I did a video of that. Just a real simple deal. Same thing I did with my 98, which was basically take a short piece of braided wire cable, and looped it on the bumper, and then drilled a hole into the license plate holder, because my wife has the same type holder I do that snaps onto the fair lead. So that also means they can be taken off real easily. And even if somebody's not going to mess with your license plate or steal it, You may leave it if you use the winch, because you have to pop that off to use the winch. And if you're not, depending on the situation and how your memory is, you may just leave it laying there and you have to go back and get it. And it may have been run over by the time that you probably ran over it yourself. so at least the cable, the short cable on there, keeps it kind of a security feature, and also too it'll dangle, or you can stick it up on the bumper while you use the winch. What we'll do is, it's a real simple deal, and quick little video will be coming up on YouTube about how to do that as well.
Very good. Just really quick, I might maybe throw in my 2 cents and say maybe go to your local hardware store and grab yourself a couple little quarter-sized magnets with a little hole in the middle of them, and screw a couple of magnets to the back side of it, and you'll be able to not only disconnect that license plate, and cable will keep it from falling in the dirt or leave it on the side of the road, but those magnets can help keep it out of the way when you're winching as well.
Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nicky G. I'm got a little bit of a cooling problem with the Jeep this week. I went to check my radiator, and I think the radiation level in it's low because it's not being very, very radiant. And checking it is proved a problem. So let's just say Best Buy doesn't have a wide selection of Geiger counters, and obtaining the plutonium for the radiator is getting to be a hassle too. The guy at O'Reilly's was not helpful at all. When I asked him to check the back for some just good old-fashioned residential grade plutonium. I don't need the commercial or the weaponized grade. Just good old-fashioned home use would be great. Would be good. But didn't have it at O'Reilly's, so I did a Google search for it on how to obtain plutonium. And now there's a few more SUVs following me, black SUVs following me than normal.
A few more.
Yeah.
So my question is why does my dog have such bad breath? All right, guys, I'll chat at you later. Have a good one. Bye.
Hey, Tony and Josh. This is Pre-Runner's wife. Anyway, he and I have started listening to you together on Sunday nights. Just gives us something to do. We have 3 kids running around, so it just gives me and him a little bonding time. So he told me if I was going to call in that I had to talk dirty to y'all. Okay? So here we go. In a minute. Okay, so here we go. Oil, mud, rack, crankshaft, roll cage. Okay, that's all I have. Bye.
Now, before you say anything, remember, this is Pre-Runner's wife, so be nice.
Oh, wow. John, you are a lucky guy.
I get the feeling that we are taking on the role of Johnny Carson. It used to come on at 10:30 Central Time every weeknight, and was often greeted by bonding time by couples in bed watching Johnny Carson.
Good stuff. Keep those coming.
Yeah, that was great. Really appreciate that. And Nicky G, the dog probably has bad breath because he's probably gotten into the radiator fluid.
Oh, jeez.
This Week in G.
Well, guys, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about the 2014 Cherokee, and, well, guess what? Release has been delayed yet again. Yeah, the 2014 Cherokee, the Jeep we've all loved to hate, Well, it's been plagued with delays and actually a recall before it was even released, and it still isn't going to be released, at least not yet. And honestly, if I had my way, this thing would never touch the showroom floors. Well, Chrysler has announced that, well, they're going to put the brakes on the production of the 2014 Cherokee. That's right. They haven't even ramped up to full production yet on the thing. They are idling hundreds of workers at its Toledo assembly complex and assigning others to perform lengthy test drives of the all-new crossover. The Cherokee was originally supposed to be in showrooms in July, but its launch has been delayed by, well, first problems with fit and finish, then issues with the headlights, and now issues with its 9-speed transmission, which apparently are still going on. They can't get that new industry-first 9-speed transmission to work right, at least work right in the long term. Now, we've all heard about, Car and Driver and AutoGuide and all these other companies that have been doing test drives of the Cherokee. And, well, most of the complaints that I've read are that it's, it can't get out of its own way. It's underpowered. The 9-speed transmission has a hard time keeping up. It does a lot of shifting. Well, of course it does a lot of shifting. There's 9 speeds to go through. So 500 workers, that's a lot of people, are being temporarily laid off at the factory as Chrysler cuts its production from 2 shifts down to just 1. The layoffs are expected to last at least 2 weeks, and some workers who have not been idled have been reassigned to take the Jeeps on these long test drives to help figure out what is going on with this dang 9-speed transmission. Hopefully, Jeep doesn't get any of this stuff right. They end up mothballing the whole project, and we never see the new Cherokee.
What a hater.
That's at least my opinion.
What a hater.
Yeah, I know. Guys, I've mentioned in earlier shows that, well, Jeep has talked about releasing a few new vehicles in the coming years. I think around 2015, there was talks about a pickup. There's been talks about a Grand Wagoneer coming out as well. And, of course, a subcompact. And the baby Jeep, as it's been called around the webs, has actually been spied. Apparently, they've made at least 1 or 2 of them to get them out on the road and sort of test the prototypes, as it were. Spies in the auto industry have captured some, and I admit, rather poor pictures of the new subcompact Jeep that is still yet to be named. Sources say that it'll be built exclusively in Europe, and it will be built on the same platform as the Fiat 500. Now, if you recall, the new Jeep Cherokee, it was Fiat designed. So this one is going to this is not going to escape the Fiat design, obviously. In fact, it's going to be built on the same platform as this Fiat 500. Yeah, talk about subcompact. The thing is going to be so small, you're going to be able to fit it in a briefcase. Now, it's scheduled to be in showrooms in 2014. Now, of course, if this is anything like the 2014 Cherokee, we're not going to see it until 2015.
Well, we've got an interview from Warrior Products. Josh, tell us the audience a little bit about that.
Well, I got a chance to. Well, let me run back just a little bit here. On a wheeling trip, I ended up damaging one of my rock rails, and it's the Warrior Products rock bars, to be specific, that I have on my Jeep. One of them got bent up, and I sent Warrior Products an email, just a common courtesy type of email. Hey guys, I love your products. I've been running these rock bars for a number of years. This happened. Here's a picture of it. If you got any advice on how I can fix this, I'm all ears. Love the great work. Keep it up. And I signed my name. And I got an email back rather quickly. In fact, they said, well, we got a couple options for you. You can pick up a new one here. We'll go ahead and just replace it for you. Or you can buy a new set at a very discounted rate. And having wanted to check out the Warrior Products facility, I said, well, yeah, I'd love to come pick one up. It's about an hour drive for me, so no big deal. And went down there, picked it up. And while I was down there, I got a chance to interview the guy. He's the sales manager for Warrior Products. His name's Eric, and he's a great guy.
Well, hey, guys, as you may know, I had to take a trip out to Warrior Products here recently to pick up a replacement rock bar to replace the broken one, well, the one that's bent up, at least, on the passenger side of the Jeep. Well, to give you guys a quick refresh, I bent one up pretty good on a recent wheeling trip, and, well, I sent a picture of it out to Warrior Products, told them how much I've liked their bars and how well they've held up through all the abuse I've thrown at them. And that is except for this last time where, well, it got pushed up a little bit, right into the rocker panel a little bit, and into the quarter panel too some. Now, with this picture, I wasn't asking for anything, just more along the lines of advice to help me get me in the right direction of fixing these things or what to do as far as getting this thing bent back into shape or possibly reinforced. I told him I really didn't want to start from scratch with a new set of bars, and I wasn't expecting anything. What I got was a great email from Eric, the sales manager over at Warrior Products. He offered me a full replacement free of charge. I can't tell you how thankful I am for that and how awesome that level of customer service is. Well, honestly, guys, that kind of customer service goes a long way in my book. And I hope if you guys are wanting to support a great company that you look towards Warrior Products to help outfit your Jeep in the future. They're great people to deal with, and obviously their customer service is above and beyond just about anybody else out there. Well, in picking up the replacement rock bar, I managed to talk Eric into hooking me up with a little tour of their facility. They're local to me, less than an hour drive, and it was really quick and easy to get there. Now, this is a part of the facility that, well, most people don't see. Warrior Products does not sell to the general public, so I really got a chance to get in behind the scenes and see how everything's made. We ended up talking for quite a while. In fact, for the beginning of the tour, I forgot to hit the record button. So what you got is about halfway in the middle of this tour, and we had already gone over a lot of the machines and the dye work and stuff like that goes into, fabricating the raw materials, the raw templates and stuff that they make a lot of their products out of. By this time in the tour, we had gotten around to the good stuff, some of the bumpers, and we started talking about them.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at these bumpers right here, and obviously, a great deal of care and pride and workmanship has gone into these right here, and just an example of the kind of product that you guys put out.
Yeah, that to me, this is one of the most important parts because that's what holds it all together, holds all the pieces together, and if the welds aren't strong, they don't. It's going to fall apart. But, they do a great job. You can see the heat affected zone. This is welded on the other side. And you can see
there's good penetration all the way through.
Yeah.
I know just enough about welding to be dangerous.
Yeah.
So
we get that a lot, actually. People, I can make that. And they go, oh, no, I can't
No.
They try,
I can put two pieces of metal together, but, oh, dear Lord, you don't want to look at it.
Yeah. Well, and trying to put something like that together, it's... a bumper like that with that many different bends and curves and different faces is extremely difficult.
Yeah, you've got compound angles, and everything's supposed to blend and be symmetrical and everything, and that, that's a lot of surface area. And unless you obviously are starting with, properly cut out materials, you got the right jigs, and you know what you're doing, you could, even if you know how to weld, unless you know what you're doing, it's going to end up looking like crap later. And especially after powder coating, that doesn't really hide a whole lot.
Right. And actually, that kind of, when I was talking about the welders being the final check, on something that length of this bumper, a 1/16 of an inch off over that distance, it's going to look really crooked.
Well, it'll be the difference between actually being able to mount it and
absolutely.
a guy sitting there fighting with it with a jack and a hammer and everything else, trying to get it to line up right. So which I've actually heard stories of from some of your competitors that, it's probably in the welding process like that. They burn it from one direction to the other, and it's slightly twisted or bowed or something like that, and things don't line up right. I haven't heard that about Warrior Products.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's one of the most important parts of it. You have to make parts good from the beginning, but those guys really make it all come together.
So I can see a little bit of a fume hood or something like that over there.
Yeah, we actually do have a small plasma over here. It's not CNC. We have patterns. So all of the aluminum corners, these are all plasmid.
Oh, okay.
To get that shape.
Yeah, you can't really do that on a bandsaw.
No, not repeatable.
No, definitely not.
Fit up against the fender flare.
So not CNC. So what, you've got a master template, and then somebody just basically will follow it with the. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a two-parted. The torch has basically a tip on the other end. So you follow it at the top, and the torch cuts at the bottom.
Oh, okay. I see.
So you just press it up against the piece and follow it.
That's good. Well, that's definitely good for safety, I guess. Keeps the operator out of harm's way.
Again, more jigs. All these, anything that has like a welded number on it is a jig for something.
Well, I was just going to say, no, this is a big shelf system here full of all these things with numbers and stuff on it. These are all jigs and templates and stuff?
Yeah, for various things. Some of them, a single part may have 3 or 4 jigs. If, a certain hole has to be lined up, and then it has to be welded on top of that. 2 components that each have to be lined up, then have to be welded together. They'll take 2 or 3 jigs sometimes. And lots of stuff like this with the wing nuts, so you really get it tightened down, make sure it's 100%, it's dead on.
extra steps. Yeah, you're not just lining up, slot A to hole B and cut, punch, press, weld.
Again, clamps so that it can't come loose.
Yeah.
So you can't bump it and accidentally do anything. It's when you put it in the jig, it's solid. So when you take it out of the jig, you know it's going to fit.
Well, here I get an opportunity to turn the conversation a little bit towards how the company got started, Warrior Products' roots, the man who started it all, and, well, Eric sheds a little bit of light on the founder himself.
Now, you said 21 years Warrior Products has been around. Now, are some of these jigs 21 years old?
Probably. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I'm sure there are some that kicking around that Tom built when he was doing shackles and hitches and stuff back in the day.
Now, is that where it all started, was shackles and hitches, basically?
Yeah, Tom used to run off-road retail shops.
Okay.
Doing, lifts on Broncos and,
So he was a grease monkey. He was a wrench turner.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Doing installs, basic, repair, mechanic work, things like that, and couldn't get the parts he needed. He couldn't get stuff that would hold up to the trucks he was building and things like that. So that's where he started with the shackles, then, hitches and things like that.
And now Warrior Products is the global distributor that it is today?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got customers all over. Yep.
Do you know how many roughly retailers you guys are shipping to in the U.S.?
Oh, directly probably only a couple hundred. But,
only a couple hundred?
Well, on the grand scheme of things.
That's a pretty good number.
Yeah, but our distributors then go to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Right.
So, our product is available through, probably a couple thousand different retailers.
Wow.
And then also overseas, had some business in the Middle East, Canada, Puerto Rico, all over.
I'm surprised to hear having distributorship out in the Middle East. In fact, I wouldn't imagine there'd be a big market and a demand for aftermarket there. I maybe like in some place like Dubai or something like that.
And that's where it was all based out of.
Okay, that makes sense.
And to them, made in the USA is gold.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, you see that flag, that made in the USA symbol, and that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on some of the boxes over there in the shipping department. Those white boxes, they all have "Made in the USA" right on them.
Absolutely. And we try and do as much as possible here. Obviously, there's a few things. You have nuts and bolts.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, you're not
like
making
that.
Nuts and bolts, and a lot of stuff you're going to have inventoried out. That.
But we do try, like even the bushings, like I said, those are all made in the States here. So that's one thing that most people wouldn't do.
So I imagine it got to a point where you guys were buying bushings somewhere else, and it got, well, why aren't we doing this in-house, or why aren't we doing this ourselves? And you found a guy and then pretty much turned him into a company, a subsidiary of Warrior Products? Or
Yeah. Actually, my understanding, I don't know the whole story behind it, but my understanding is that we bought the company and then kept him on.
Oh, okay.
Because he was the expert. He's the guy who's been doing it for 15 years or whatever. So we own the Black Knight name and all the product and things like that, but we don't physically pour the molds. The guy does it for us. But he'll build all the custom molds for us. We build the original dies for the molds here on the lathe back there.
Now, I saw your computer tracking system there in the front room there. As far as inventory goes, now is all that computer controlled and everything? So like when you get low on XYZ bushing, a notification goes out to Black Knight and they start pouring into the molds, or how's that all work?
Kind of. We run reports throughout the day. They'll tell us what's getting low, and then it's actually pretty cool. The system will know what's come back from powder coat and what hardware that part uses. So if a roof rack uses 12 of one type of bolt, even though that part's not sold yet, it knows that those are going to be sold and going to be taken out of inventory. So we can order them ahead of time if needed.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, yeah. I mean, it keeps the monster rolling, I guess. If you run out of a bushing and you've got 10 orders lined up for the month, you don't want to be waiting on one little part holding everything up.
That's the worst feeling when you have a big ticket item like a roof rack or a suspension kit, and you're short 3 5/16 bolts or whatever it might be. You're thinking, this is a
quick
quarter.
run to Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the worst feeling is to have all the stuff ready to go, minus some little tiny detail.
No, I mean, I saw back here in your where you got all the inventory and stuff sitting. I mean, obviously you got bumpers that are shipping out. I'm sure bumpers are going out every single day. A lot of Wrangler stuff, a lot of corners and stuff. What do you think is probably your guys' most popular item?
Actually, it's kind of a new development, but our most popular bumper is the FJ Cruiser front bumper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. One of our most popular items overall is another odd one. It's a shackle for an Explorer.
Really?
A lift shackle for an Explorer.
I would never have guessed.
No one makes them.
Never have guessed.
Yep.
All right. Well, because I'm recording here, what would you say would be the most popular Jeep item?
It varies for the season. Tube doors in the summer, we just can't build them fast
Well,
enough.
I bet there's a huge seasonal fluctuation in the kind of stuff that's going out the door.
Overall, probably bumpers, because we have such a wide range. You can get the same bumper in 10 different forms. So that's probably the biggest. Is just bumpers in general.
And those are going out year round. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see there's half a dozen or so right there ready to go out, and yeah, no, this has just been awesome. I mean, I see Warrior products and you just don't know what's behind the scenes. Looking at a name and seeing this and being an Oregon-based company. It was founded in Oregon and around for 21 years, and you guys are going strong. I mean, obviously branching out now that you guys have pretty much sent all the office personnel out to a whole nother facility. I mean, I imagine seeing you guys another 5 or 10 years branching out again, having to do another manufacturing facility.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. The potential.
Oh, really? You're already kind of at that point?
It's a real tough thing to do. It's so expensive and so time consuming to move equipment like this. Yeah. But we're getting to the point where, I mean, ideally we wouldn't have steel on that top shelf.
Right.
But we got to have it in to keep up. So, it's been talked about. I don't know that it'll happen anytime soon, but it's definitely come up. And we'd like to actually combine the office and the plant again.
Oh, well, yeah, I would imagine that would be the best ideal solution.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody in one facility. Is there a lot of breakdown in communication having things separated like that, or?
To an extent. The computers are all networked, so anything that needs to get over right away, we throw in a shared folder. It's constantly being checked. We can print back and forth.
Oh,
so
that's
I can
good.
print something out here, and it'll pop up on the operations manager's desk.
Are you normally stationed here?
No, I'm normally at the office.
Oh, I was going to say, now I believe in your email signature it's like sales manager or something like that.
Yes.
I wouldn't imagine you being at a place like this every day.
Right, yeah, I'm over at the office. I'm here pretty much every day at some point.
Oh, okay.
But my home base, if you will, is at the office.
So you come to check on your own particular orders that you have going out?
Yep, I also help with a lot of technical support, customer service type things. So
well, I can I can attest to that firsthand.
So I'll come over, grab some stuff, because the shipping guys are so busy doing their shipping that I can come over, grab the hardware if it's missing or someone broke a bolt, that kind of stuff. I can just come over here and grab it, and then ship it out through the office. Also paperwork, any hard copies that aren't being scanned, bring them back and forth. We do store some files here. So we've got big file cabinets, so when things get filed, I'll bring a box of files over.
Oh, yeah, hard copy archives probably will never go away.
Oh, they're terrible. But
yeah, no, especially when you have to go digging for something. It's like, what was that invoice number again?
Yeah. But yeah, for one reason or another, I'm here almost every day. Also working with the engineers. So.
Oh, okay. And I was going to say, as far as like R&D goes, how much is sales involved in that sort of aspect of it?
We've actually been kind of branching out and bringing the engineers with us to events.
Oh.
So like the FJ Summit, I grabbed our manufacturing engineer and he came with us, and he got to talk to the end user, which is, again, it's difficult as a manufacturer because we're so far removed, sometimes 2 or 3 steps removed from the end user. It's a
you don't
warehouse.
get a chance to get that kind of feedback, especially after the fact. I mean, maybe getting a chance to talk to somebody as they pick up an item or something like that's one thing, but a year, 2 years, whatever down the road, or even a single trail run later, and you get to hear some feedback, I imagine is invaluable information.
Absolutely. Well, and like I was saying, we're so far removed. Sometimes it goes from us to a warehouse, to a distributor, to a retail shop, to the customer. So the customer may never know where it comes from if it's not properly labeled, if they don't pay attention to the box, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they see made in USA, but they don't know.
Yep.
I mean, the guy, up in Tillamook State Forest wheeling doesn't necessarily know that the bumper he's rolling was made just, a few miles away.
And especially things like shackles that are relatively generic. Guy opens a box because he needs some shackles and throws them on, and that's it. He may think they're the greatest thing in the world, but may never really make the connection. We may never get to talk to him in person or even over the phone. So whenever we do get that opportunity, we really try and jump on it and get everyone involved.
Well, I can't thank you enough for the level of customer service that you've just given to me. Being that end user,
right,
so to speak, and just having the opportunity to develop that sort of level of communication with you guys, to show you my experiences, to tell you guys what I've experienced, how things worked and whatnot. And of course, I've been a huge fan. Oregon company. I'm Oregon born and raised. So my team. So it's really neat to be able to communicate with the company that manufactures the gear that I'm running on my Jeep, and to see where it's all made. I mean, that's just a whole nother thing altogether. So that's way cool, and I can't thank you enough.
Absolutely, anytime.
Well, at this point, I'd pretty much seen every last corner of Warrior Products. Eric was kind enough to go ahead and take me around and pretty much show me every single machine, what it does, what it makes. Got to see the shipping department, a little bit of their R&D. They got a lift in there where they actually do some bolt-on stuff. Saw the offices. Heck, I even saw a sewing machine. I got a chance to see basically everything that Warrior Products has to offer, everything that the company really is, and of course what they stand for. And let me tell you, it really was a true honor to have the privilege to get to do that. But I wasn't done yet. I just scratched the surface, so to speak. I wanted to learn a little bit more about the founder, the guy himself, the big man, the guy who started it all. Start off by asking Eric, just how much is he involved in the day-to-day stuff around this facility?
A little bit of everything. I mean, he still comes over here with the engineers. He's got the big, heavy lab coat that he throws on when he's working on the vehicles.
Like a light lab coat?
Yeah, but it's all thick, like Carhartt type deal.
Oh, wow.
So he'll come out and wrench on vehicles, build parts.
Now, does he actually kind of hover around,
Oh, yeah. He'll come in, hey, kind of be the true
watch
boss.
Those welds,
Yeah, he'll be that guy. He does some of the sales stuff. He goes to shows.
Wow.
Does some
so,
traveling.
owner of the company is 21 years. I figured by this point in time he would want to be removed, just sort of behind the scenes aspect of it. But to hear that he's actually involved.
Oh, he's very
hands-on.
Very much so.
That really attests to the kind of character that's behind the company. Because if the guy who's running the show basically has that kind of wherewithal to be that much hands-on with everything, it's going to trickle down to everybody else, and they're going to take pride in what they do. They're going to make sure they're doing it right, and and that obviously speaks for the product.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great boss to have. I mean, he's tough, but you know what you're going to get. You know what he expects. Very straightforward. And he's always around. I mean, he's very approachable at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, that's. I was going to ask. I would imagine that after 21 years of running a company and developing it to, a worldwide company, a worldwide organization, more or less, that he would kind of get a little stuffy or a little have that elitist sort of thing. But no, he's fairly down to earth and approachable. That's way cool.
Yeah, I mean, a good example. We actually blew up the rear end in the FJ just before we left for the summit. We got a bunch of parts overnighted. He brought him over to the shop around 7 o'clock at night. He helped us throw in the rear gears.
So he was actually getting grease under his nails and stuff, huh?
Yep, he was running running the air tools and throwing the brakes on and got all put back together.
So does he still play? I mean, does he still get out and drive and, and hit trails and stuff like that?
Yeah, he still does the racing all the time.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's our driver for the WP racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he did the Baja 2-3 times now.
Wow.
Yeah, he does all the Jeep Speed Challenge. It's a Cherokee. So
now is that the red one that I see in all the magazines and stuff like that, or
it's an orange one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got a carbon fiber wrap on the hood and on the fenders.
I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool class because it's very limited.
Well, I know you guys have a fairly substantial race team, or aspect. You're fairly involved in the off-road racing world, so to speak. I didn't know that you guys had a Cherokee, a Jeep Speed, Cherokee. I figured,
that sort of thing went by the wayside, and you guys moved on to the bigger and better things. But
that's the kind of stuff Tom lives for.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm really happy to hear that.
I mean, back in the day, he used to build muscle cars. He used to drag race, dirt race. Everything.
Also, he's a gearhead through and through.
Oh yeah, if it goes fast, he loves it.
My kind of guy.
If you can do something stupid in it, he's in.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the wife just loves that.
Yeah. The Jeep Speed class, though, it's pretty cool. Very limited. You can't run coilovers and all that fancy stuff. It has to be coil springs in the front, leaf springs in the rear.
Oh, man.
And you've got big King bypass shocks and things like that.
Sure.
But it has to be factory motor. You can't,
no LS1s.
No Corvette motors, nothing like that. And to keep it very competitive, you can actually swap motors with any competitor in your class. So they don't want people screwing with them. They're like, nope, just run what you got and be done with it. So it's fun. It's a relatively inexpensive way to do that kind of thing, to race the Baja, to blast through the desert at 100 miles an hour.
You get a chance to be a part of any of that, do you think?
I was on the chase team for the Baja 1000.
Oh, no, that must have been kind of cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And what were you guys driving?
Actually, that big white F250 V10.
Okay. Towing a big trailer behind it.
And it used to have 37s on it, so that thing was a monster.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. There's, I think, 5 of us stuffed into that truck.
I imagine that was a little bit more vacation than it was work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But still getting paid, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I had some free meals and some free beer out of it. So.
Oh, man.
And a free trip to Mexico.
Yeah, that's a blast right there. You going to be part of the team again this year? Or?
To an extent, it kind of... Actually, there's a lot of the guys in the shop who want to be involved.
I would imagine that everybody is lining up to sign that list.
Yeah, so exactly. We've got a list going, and people are kind of going to rotate in for wherever they can fit into the schedule and things like that.
Well, hey, you ever need a guy on the team? Let me throw my hat in the ring right now.
Yeah. And we actually have half of a team. So Tom's one of his good friends from back in the day, owns the other half of the car, and he actually owns a machine shop, so that's also handy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you kind of have to have some aspect of that somewhere in the mix, but...
Yeah, so then, of course, he's got all of his buddies and his son's friends and stuff that want to be involved, so there's quite the list. But
I'm sure, yeah. Well, I know you guys have a pretty decent race team, so you got to have a lot of good people behind it.
Yeah.
Big support team, at least, yeah.
And Tom's super, super competitive.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah. We melted the ring and pinion on a Ford 9-inch at the Baja. Completely melted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you run it dry or something?
Yeah, we blew a seal, I think, on the axle tube.
Oh, so
and it's just slowly ran dry. Yeah. And no, we can make it. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Next thing you know,
it's seized up.
The ring gear was completely smooth.
Wow.
It literally liquefied the teeth on the gear. It was completely smooth.
That thing must have just been glowing.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
That's amazing. He wasn't going to stop for you.
Yeah, right?
We're going to make it or we're not.
I can only imagine what that would have been like, yeah. Especially down in Mexico.
Yeah.
So what's next then? I mean, just kind of keep plugging along and just keep growing sales and stuff like that?
Actually with the new engineering team, getting them all settled in.
How new is the new engineering team then?
Around a year and a half, where they've really been defined as proper engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, the manufacturing engineer, worked on the floor. So he just built parts like everyone else.
And so he learned the CAD programs?
He's actually got an engineering degree.
Oh, wow.
It's just we wanted him to know the process, know our equipment. And he's got a background in engineering as well. He worked for a roof rack company for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
Doing injection molded plastics, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So now that they're really getting settled in and starting to really be productive as engineers rather than just as production, they're going back, fixing things, coming up with new ways to make parts that we've already made for 20 years.
So starting to streamline some of the manufacturing process, starting to see where you can not necessarily cut corners, but cut cost and make things more efficient.
Yeah, if there's two pieces of metal that are joined together, they're welded together, why not make it out of one and just bend it instead of having to weld it? Things like that. So, again, with almost 2,000 part numbers, really got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I bet.
And then all the new product development, with the FJ, all that stuff's a year to 3 years old, so it's all relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
coming out with a new bumper for the JK.
I was going to say the JK market is probably a constant stage of evolution.
Absolutely. And even new finishes. We're doing a heavy-duty aluminum, but it's like a 3/16 aluminum. However, we have to reprogram like the press brake and everything to use a thicker material that's also softer. So
a little bit of trial and error in there, I'm sure.
Something as simple as changing the finish on it basically means re-engineering the whole product. A lot of people don't understand. Like, what do you mean I can't have the same thing with a different material? Well, tolerances are different.
There's a lot that goes into it, yeah.
So, yeah, they're definitely going to be busy for a long time.
Well, talking about race stuff and engineering, that's a lot of fun. But I got a chance now to ask Eric some of the really tough questions. So I'm sure you're aware that Jeep has released a new Cherokee. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on that thing? Have you seen it yet?
I have not. I've heard little tidbits here and there. My understanding is it's basically like basically a Liberty, isn't it?
No, it's like a Fiat.
Okay.
It's hideous. It's more car than it is Jeep. Apparently they have a trail rated version of it, but it was, for all intents and purposes, designed by Fiat.
Really? Okay.
And the one cool thing is that there's apparently going to be a diesel option.
I did hear that.
Huge torque monster. They've got a 9-speed transmission they're throwing behind it.
Yeah.
Apparently, just recently, the last couple months, they took one. Now, these aren't released on the showroom floor yet. The production facility, I think, is going to be up to full speed sometime in September.
Okay.
So shortly thereafter, you'll see them on the showroom floors. But pictures are all over the web. But apparently, they just took one here in the last month or two through the Rubicon.
Oh, wow.
Bone stock. So, without being winched, without any recovery, went through the Rubicon. So I don't know how much of it, but I've seen some of the pictures. There was a display, some auto show, I think it was the Detroit Auto Show, where they had a bunch of concrete pillars that were all sort of offset and whatnot, and this thing was crawling over them. But it looks like a grocery getter. I mean, it's a mommy missile through and through. This thing looks like a car, a very crossover SUV type of styling. Sure. But I was wondering if you guys were potentially even thinking about getting into, the new Grand Cherokee, the new Cherokee, creating some product for those lines.
We've talked about really about doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're probably going to work on my guess would be the Grand Cherokees, because they're old enough now where people aren't afraid to tear off the front bumper.
Now we're talking like the ZJs,
all of them,
up to the, or even the WJs, mm-hmm. So into the 2003-ish.
And the ones that I know that there's a following for, because again they did a diesel motor for a couple years. Was it the 2008 and 9, I believe?
I think so. Yeah.
They did a diesel, so those are getting more popular, and again they're getting more affordable now, so people aren't as afraid to chip the paint, take them off road.
Right.
A couple other random vehicles, like the Nissan Xterra.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 4Runners, Tacomas, things like that. Very limited offering, most likely. Maybe just front and rear bumper and steps, something like that. But
your guys' roots are Jeep, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's where it all started. And you're not going to shy away from that at all. You're just going to sort of start branching out a little bit into other...
Yeah, well, the big difference is, for any given Wrangler, we may have a couple hundred part numbers.
I would imagine, yeah.
So for any of these other vehicles, we may have half a dozen.
Sure.
So it'll be a very, very limited offering in comparison.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, things like, racks and some other things are somewhat universal, so, it can be applied across platforms. But, you get into bumpers and steps and tire carriers and, things like that. It's a little more application specific. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine, though, we probably will take at least a really hard look at the new Cherokee. Who knows? It's one of those things where it depends on how the factory built it. That makes a big difference.
So, like with the FJs, you guys got your hands on one. You took it in here and started taking it apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that kind of how the R&D starts?
Yeah, a lot of it. Previously, the owner's been a Jeep nut from day one.
So my kind of guy.
He's had every...
We're already best friends.
He's had old, like a CJ3B or something, all the way up to the new JK.
Oh, man.
And everything in between. So a lot of it was built off of his vehicles or his buddies, things like that.
Is he still involved in some of the R&D? I mean, if one of the guys says, "Hey, I got a new bumper design for X vehicle,"
Does it have to clear him before it
absolutely.
even? Okay.
Yeah.
He's got final say on everything.
He'll
Still.
come
Okay.
go, I don't like that. Or that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And a lot of times that's all the direction they'll get is no, we can't do that.
Start over.
Else. Yeah. Or that's great. Keep this. Keep that. But,
now, do you see him every day, Tom?
Yep.
Donor?
His office is right next to mine. So, or actually, there's the conference room between. But yeah, he's in the same building, same little area. So.
You got to work for it, then, I imagine.
Yeah.
Kept you around for a couple of years, yeah.
Well, at this point, as you can tell, I got a lot of really good information, not only about Warrior products, but also the people behind it. Well, and speaking of the people behind it, I wanted to find out a little bit more about Eric. So, started to scratch the surface.
So I want to get back to your roots a little bit and talk about. You said you're a Jeep fan, Jeep enthusiast, obviously an off-road enthusiast. If you're in this industry,
yeah,
you got a '99 TJ. Can you talk about it a little bit?
I bought it when I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Took it to college with me. Started working on it a little bit here and there. It's fairly mild, 4-inch lift, 33-inch tires, and then basically front and rear bumper. But I tore out all the carpet, did a bed liner in it, spraying bed liner, that kind of stuff.
Mess with the drivetrain at all?
Re-geared it and did a slip yoke eliminator in the transfer case. That's basically it.
Now, how much do you get out and play with it?
Not as often as I'd like to.
Well, yeah, I think we can all say that.
But it's getting to the point now. I've got another vehicle where it's going to become more of a purpose-built trail rig. So I've been looking for axles, looking for transfer cases, things like that to really be able to take it out and have fun with it, and not have to worry about.
Because it's not your daily driver anymore. So
yeah, and it was for so long. In college and in early jobs and stuff. You break it on the weekend, you don't go to work.
My Cherokee was the same way. I mean, it was. I started building it up because, I've been an off-road enthusiast for most of my life. And got my hands on this Cherokee, and I was like, I'm going to build this one. And so I started building it up, and it was still my daily driver at the time. So I had to be careful when I was out off-road, and I had to keep myself out of harm's way. Now that it's been retired to pretty much toy status, it's almost no holds barred. So that's why it's might be heading down to the Rubicon here in another couple months.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, I can't wait to really tear into it.
Now, when was the last wheeling trip that you took it on?
Probably a month ago, out to Trask Mountain area.
Oh yeah.
Yep, just kind of hanging out, driving around on the old back roads and stuff. Nothing crazy, but
take the family out there. You family man?
No, just a bunch of buddies went out camping. Kind of stayed up there for a couple nights, just had fun.
That's good times right there. Yeah, well, that's where this all started. Really, I imagine Tom's got the same kind of roots out in the woods or out in the trail.
He used to go out to Sand Lake every weekend, tear up the dunes. He had Broncos and Jeeps and all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
He'd build anything. He had a full-size van with a big block in it.
Whoa!
Because he could. So.
Well, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Just because I can.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he'd use it to tow, a race vehicle or whatever. But he just built all kinds of crazy stuff back in the day.
So, is there like a Warrior Products fleet around somewhere? I mean, is there a warehouse that's got 10 rigs in it that Tom's all breathed on?
He's got the FJ and then a 2012 JK 4-door. It's on 37s with aluminum bead locks and the whole 9 yards. Then they've got the big beast of a truck out here to tow, and then the race Jeep.
So, okay, in a lot of the catalogs and stuff, I see the red XJ, the red Cherokee that's got the steps, the bumpers, the rack, everything. Do you know the story behind that one?
I don't know the story on that one in particular. I'd imagine that was probably Tom's at one point. Or, again, one of his good buddies or whatever bought it for one of their kids or something.
Right.
I know our operations manager is talking about buying a Cherokee for his son and bringing it in. We'll just get it all fixed up for him, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I'm sure 100% where it came from, but it's always a story, something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know if you're like, oh yeah, that was one of the first Warrior Products Cherokees. It's still floating around somewhere. Somebody's got it. And
we had YJ running around here for 4 or 5 years that recently just sold. So there's someone driving around the area with it.
Oh, lucky bastard!
Yeah, actually, it's cool. It's got a new suspension. We converted the front end to coil spring using TJ coils and a XJ front axle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be damned.
So it's all factory junkyard parts. You just put together and then use our control arms and mounts and.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, made it 10 times smoother.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, it basically turned it into a TJ for the most part.
And like I said, it's all TJ parts. So if you want to, later on, if you want to swap axles or whatever, you get a TJ crate axle or an XJ crate axle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's all the same Dana 30. Well, at this point, Eric turned the tables on me, actually, and he got a chance to ask me a hard question.
I'm actually curious what you think of the shop. Is it what you thought it was going to be?
Honestly, I was expecting newer technology. I've worked in manufacturing facilities for the last 10, 15 years. The company I work for now, we have a big machine shop, and it's all fairly state-of-the-art CNC. I myself, I use SolidWorks. I use a couple other drafting programs as well. I'm very involved with CAD work and stuff. To see some of the stuff that looks like it's been around since the 60s or 70s or maybe even before on some of this stuff,
some of it, yeah.
I'm a little surprised because when I think of Warrior products, I think state-of-the-art. I think cutting edge. And I know that it doesn't take cutting-edge technology to create cutting-edge products, but I was expecting something newer, I guess, Now, don't let that, take that in the spirit which it's intended. This stuff gets the job done, obviously. As far as like size goes, I was expecting about this size of facility.
Okay.
So I didn't think that you guys were in some, massive 100,000 square foot facility, 300 employees all running, 3 shifts or something like that. I would have thought that you guys were running 2 shifts. Just because of the amount of product that I see, the kind of exposure and the presence that you guys have online and in the industry, I would expect to have seen a couple of shifts. I would have expected to see maybe a little bit larger of a shipping department just because of that. Now, that's all just assumptions.
Right.
But from what I've seen here, though, as far as the actual fabrication process, I love the hands-on. I love to see that everything is still, for the most part, handmade. Down to everything except for like the nuts and bolts is very hands-on. I love the fact that Tom, the owner, is still hands-on. That everybody has pretty much had, in one regard or another, a duty out here in the shop at one point or another. It's your production manager or the engineering manager rather started out here.
Okay.
Those are the kind of roots that I love to hear about, and that really sets Warrior products apart from other companies that are doing similar stuff. You guys haven't forgotten where you started from, where you came from, and that essence of a guy building shackles in his garage or whatever is still present when I look out here. So that's really cool.
It's definitely a unique atmosphere. I've been in quite a few shops, and it's a little different, but it works really, really well for us. So.
Apparently. Like I said, you guys, I haven't heard any bad things about Warrior products. Oh, it doesn't fit. Oh, it took me 12 weeks to get a bumper. Oh, everything that I've heard about Warrior products has been positive in nature. And again, the presence that you guys have online is huge. In the stores, it's huge. Like you said, the trickle down. You guys send out to these retailers. The retailers are out to the customers. You got distributors. Distributors send out to retailers. Retailers out to customers. It's just this massive branched out network that really has a reputation that precedes itself. To see that it comes from these kind of humble beginnings is really, really something else. But once again, I cannot thank Eric enough for letting me tour the facility, answering all my questions, and just shooting the breeze with me for so long. I probably took up way too much of his time. I know this interview has been down to, just about a little over a half hour, but folks, I was there for almost 2 hours. We did end up talking a long time. More so in the beginning, more about the actual equipment and what everything does. We didn't get that on tape, but maybe next time. He did promise me an opportunity to talk with Tom, the owner, and I'm looking forward to that. Not sure when that's going to happen, but I'm anxiously looking forward to it. This experience has been an absolute pleasure and definitely has been an honor for me. Warrior Products is very highly regarded, at least in my book, as far as off-road companies that provide us the kinds of things that we need to build up our rigs. They obviously have top-notch customer service. They've taken care of me way above and beyond any of my expectations. I can't thank Warrior Products enough. I cannot thank Eric enough. and I'm very much looking forward to doing more business with them and getting back to the Warrior Products facility to do some more poking around. If you'd like to learn more about Warrior Products, who they are, where they're from, and, well, of course, what they can offer for your Jeep, head over to warriorproducts.com, WARRIOR products.com.
Well, I've really enjoyed that interview, Josh. It's been a long time coming. We've had that one kind of on the back burner for a while. I'll take the blame for that I didn't, plan on having it on the show before now.
Yeah, and of course I kind of had the bad co-host role. I should have lit the fire under your butt a little bit sooner and gotten that on the air for everybody. And of course, once again, I'd like to thank Warrior Products. Like to thank Eric for the opportunity to not only to check out their facility, but also for the interview. And I'm going to be sure to stay in touch with those guys here in the future.
Well, I was really happy to hear that that Tom, the owner or the main guy there at Warrior Products, is a big Jeep Cherokee guy. That's always fun to hear. You think of the Wranglers, whether it be the CJs or any of the Wranglers, the YJ, the TJ, or the new JKs as being the line, the main 4x4 from Jeep. But right. you see it so often that it's more the Cherokee, or I wouldn't say the more the Cherokee. It's surprisingly the Cherokee on things like this. So it's good to hear it again. I mean, we heard the same thing from I think it was Bushwhacker, or I believe it was Bushwhacker. The owner there at Bushwhacker was a big Jeep fan as well, Jeep Cherokee fan. So pretty cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Their race Cherokee is something to behold. We'll see if we can't get some links to the pictures of that thing up there. And, of course, you guys are all familiar with the red Cherokee that you see in all the Warrior Products catalogs. That is floating around still somewhere. The orange. The orange. But, yeah, guys, we'll have a couple links up in the show notes for you guys so you can check out some pictures and, of course, check out Warrior Products and all that they have to offer. And look forward to some more interviews in the very near future. Hopefully we can get one set up with the owner of Warrior Products and actually get down to some really nitty-gritty. Yeah,
I was just going to say, I know that you've been doing a lot of hard and long hours, no pun intended, at work, but I was going to poke you about that interview with Tom. Let's not let that one get away from us. That would be great.
No, now that we've got this one sort of in the bag, we'll go ahead and I'll open up channels of conversation again with Eric and see if we can get that slated. Tom is kind of a hard guy to sit down and get some time with. He's a very busy man. He's running a global company, and his time is not only valuable, but also kind of sparse.
Maybe we could get him a lab coat with XJ Talk embroidered on the above the pocket.
Oh, he might just wear it. He might just wear it.
You could walk in and say, and put your head down and, can I please have an interview? And just, hold the thing out as a gift. All right, guys. Well, look, we really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Hopefully we'll be getting back to more interviews here real soon. So we'll see you next week. Please join us live, 10 p.m. Central Time. Check out our YouTube channel for more information. I think we were an hour and 2 minutes on that.
Yeah, no, like I said, there was some dead air in there that I know that we could trim up a little bit. I'm sure you'll end up putting in a couple promos here and there or whatever. But
actually, I'm pretty much leaving it alone. The editing process is so much simpler now, and the only thing that's time consuming is uploading and updating the site with information, which I still have yet to do with last week's show. On both shows, I didn't really do any show notes on there.
There was a good minute gap of nothing right before This Week in Jeep.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw what I typed in. I couldn't find it on the board.
Oh. So I hope you don't leave that in there.
No, taking out the silent stuff out of the podcast, it'll be in the video, the online video, because I'm not going to mess with it. Let's get the show promo, the video promo done, and maybe we can make an early night of this. As I mentioned earlier in chat, we absolutely had no viewers tonight. Now, Jake was talking about, over on xjtalk.com, Jake was talking about they now have internet access at their house, and he still can't watch the YouTube live events.
And, I forgot to thank Jake and John for their submissions for This Week in Jeep, and I really meant to do that. So I'm going to have to...
It was a tight show. I mean, it's understandable.
So I'll have to make room for that next week.
I don't like it when here it is.
So we still streaming then, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just checking the posts here to see if there was an update. I don't know why YouTube is doing it, but they do some long link for the live events instead of that nice short link that you could put in posts and put on Twitter and stuff like that. And I can edit it into a short link and it works. So I edited it and put it in the post about episode 96 on xjtalk.com, and it does show up. So I was basically looking to see if Jake had tried that link. I just doesn't make any sense why he can't see it on his phone or his laptop or anything. It almost seems like that would be a driver installation issue or something.
Could be that too.
Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and say goodnight. Again, nobody's watching live, but I think it is like what you said. Breaking Bad was on. The final episode of Breaking Bad was on tonight.
It's a huge TV event, really. I know not everybody watches that.
I have never seen an episode.
Same here. I know of the show. I know about it. I know some of the characters. I know it's won a lot of awards. I know it's been nominated for even more. And this series finale. This isn't a season finale. This is the series finale.
Yep.
Is been absolutely blown up on media, on radio talk shows, podcasts, commercials, TV and radio. It's a huge deal. So I would imagine a lot of people are sitting down and I mean, if I could see some of our fans being fans of that kind of show. I'm not personally, but it's a huge TV event, so I would imagine it's getting a lot of attention.
Yep. Anyway, I was just going to say, but I'm sure there's some people out there that are watching the stream, not the stream, the show, the recorded show on YouTube, because I don't know if you saw, we are getting a substantial number of views on the XJ Talk YouTube channel. So this is working out pretty well. Not so much for the fun, the chat that we were having with Ustream,
sure.
But I really think a lot of that wasn't really geared towards the show. I think they were just having a fun time chatting with each other.
Sure. Yeah, we giving them fodder.
It's like the drone in the background that lets you know that the teacher's still doing the lecture, so we can continue doing it whenever that would be funny if we were watching the chat room and then we just got quiet for a second and just said, would you mind joining the rest of the class and paying attention to this lecture?
That's great. That would be great.
All right. Again, thanks, guys, for watching, and we do appreciate it. Every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, right here on Ustream. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, they both start with you.
Yeah, I know. I've made the Freudian slip myself a couple of times, and I have to actually think about it if I'm going to mention it. Can't say Ustream, and it's happened a couple times where I'm telling myself I can't say Ustream, and I say Ustream.
And I'll tell you real quick before I forget about it, and also tell the audience that are still listening. We really got to get down to the actual details of Amazon You Bought and What.
Oh, right.
So, because we should have some for next week if we can get it all worked out how we're going to do it. Of course, we'll need some sort of some audio. We don't have to have it, but it would be nice to have some audio fun to go along with it.
Yeah, I think just excuse me, just some sound bites would probably work out really well.
The screeching tires, it's in the notes. Just something that we could play, so it would be a good catalyst for people to. And actually, with Breaking Bad gone now, and introducing a bi-weekly contest, it might help.
But we have Walking Dead coming up here in another 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. So
we'll be able to use that promo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we might have to make the shows a little bit tighter because that's going to be coming on 9:00 my time. So no, I'm just kidding. I think they out here. I think they air it twice in a row or something. They do it at 9 and then they get at 10, and then they bring on the Talking Dead at 11.
Well, I mean, we're not going to do Talking Dead on. Walking Dead on
No,
XJ
not
Talk.
not XJ Talk.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we would be in trouble.
Yes, we would.
So anyway, every week, Sunday, 10 p.m. Central Time on Ustream. No, I'm just kidding. On YouTube.
There you go.
Just check out the YouTube XJ Talk channel, and you can see. And of course, there's the xjtalkshow.com. It currently shows Ustream. We do need to change that, but we'll be changing that real soon. Just remember to check us out on YouTube because that's where we are.
Yep, and please subscribe and please like us as well.
Like me. Yep, had to log back on to stop the stream. That is so damn weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how long they've been offering this service, so it might just be sort of one of those glitch things. It's